In St. Johns County tonight, as some people try to push forward in their 2-month fight for a mask mandate, local lawmakers haven't even had an official discussion about it. On Your Side's Haley Harrison spoke to one commissioner who says his efforts to talk about masks have been muzzled.
Although a majority of counties and cities on the First Coast have implemented a mask mandate, St. Johns County commissioners haven't even had an official discussion about it. But Commissioner Dean says his proposal has never received a second motion, and therefore commissioners haven't even been able to talk about the possibility of a mask mandate.
I've only raised it as a non-agenda item, but that's the only way I can raise it. I'm basing my action on trying to follow the best medical science.
Dean estimates, based on public comment during meetings and conversations he's had with constituents over the past month and a half, that about 75% of residents want a mask mandate in St. Johns County.
Wouldn't we try everything we possibly can to try to prevent the spread of COVID, especially in the absence of state and federal leadership? Leadership meaning a mask mandate.
St. John's resident Wendy Seth has been at all the public meetings virtually. She's for a mask mandate and says a simple concern for public health has become too political. But other residents are voicing their opinions against a mask mandate in those same weekly meetings, citing privacy issues or family members who have medical conditions that prevent them from wearing a mask. First Coast News requested an interview with District 1 Commissioner James Johns and District 2 Commissioner Jeb Smith. Both declined to comment. Dean says District 4 Commissioner Jeremiah Blocker is currently on deployment with the National Guard. It's also important to note that District 3 County Commissioner Paul Waldron was against a mask mandate, but hasn't been at the past few meetings to have a say about it. About a month ago, he was admitted into the ICU for COVID-19 treatment. In St. Johns County, Haley Harrison, First Coast News, on your side.